Alright, so let's start reading out the ships. On the red team, we have the PPI Compensation. That is a Mobula piloted by Fenric Shard, which has a Mercury as the main gun. It has 2 Artemises on the bottom deck, and a mine launcher, and a flare gun on the top deck. There's also the Zapdos, piloted by Puppet Dragon, which is a junker that has an Artemis as the front gun, and 2 Artemises on the left side, and a flamethrower and a Gatling on the right side.
All right, and then we have a Mobula Nandorin being piloted by Sir Stefan. This is a Hades top double Artemis bottom with a Gatling top right and a flare gun top left. And next we got a Pyramidion. It's the same one as last match, St. Glass Weekend Kiss being piloted by Mighty Keb. Differences here. He has an Artemis top right with a Gatling top left, Banshee on the bottom left there, and far rear gun is a flare. So this is going to be an interesting build. A lot of dynamics are going to be happening here. A lot of disables going to be happening.
There is now a pause coming out as one of the engineers on the Zapdos is disconnected.
So with these ship loadouts, you're going to see quite a bit of disables. Every ship has Artemis, so a lot of great shots going to be coming out. At least that's what these captains are going to be relying on, is their engineers, their gunners being able to secure those disables, allowing the team to get a kill without being killed himself. I think one of the biggest ones is going to be Zapdos. The triple Artemis junker is definitely the king of disabling, bar the Watcha probably. And then PPI Compensation with that Mercury on top, definitely going to be able to get the hull breaks with the double Artemis and a triple Artemis from Zapdos. Going to see a lot of fast kills if they both focus the same target, and that Mercury does its job of hitting hull as opposed to hitting components. Meanwhile, Nandarin, oh boy. The Hades double Artemis is just a killer. It is a king. And with the mine launcher, I'm sorry, he doesn't have the mine launcher, does he? Yes, he does. With that mine launcher, he's going to be able to... Oh, he doesn't have a mine launcher. That's a Gatling. I'm sorry. Who had the mine launcher?
I believe that was the PPI.
Ah, the PPI with that mine launcher. That's what I really want to see rocking. I want to see him get some mine hits with that thing.
Yes, mines are always fun to use and to watch being used.
Yeah, it's definitely probably a counter to the Pyramidion, who could potentially try to go for ramps with the Gatling, but might try to stay long distance and just sit with his ally. But with that Gatling Artemis, what he's able to do with that combination and with the Banshee is close in nice and steady, let his gunner get the disables. Well, I guess he's an engineer in this case, but let that Artemis get the disables, Gatling get the hull break, and then slowly advance until he can get the ram, and then the Banshee is there just as a reassurance that the ram will end up being in a kill.
We have both teams not going toward the center of the map, but going around the gun at the center of the map. The red team going over this ridge.
Yes, and this is what I was talking about when I was explaining the long-range dynamic and the short-range dynamic of this map. The middle dominates. It's a short-range area, and it dominates the majority of the map. Everything around is long-range, and both these ships are equipped for long-range battles. So, not really sure what's going to happen here. Going to be a bit of a ring around the rosy or whatever you want to call it, but either team at any time can just go ahead and cut through the middle, and they'll link up and be able to engage in the middle. Probably not what they want, but the middle is a great place to engage.
Yes, at this point the teams have already effectively swapped spawns.
Mandarin, Mighty Keb and Sir Stefan piloting those two ships. They swapped spawns with red team, and that kind of almost cost them the game. They had great engagements and won, but the respawns are what got them.
Yes, that was a very close match to watch. But it looks like blue team may be approaching toward the center of the map now.
Now look at here. Look at how low Zapdos is. That's kind of a dangerous spot to be in with triple Artemis and a Junker. Junker does not have a great ability to rise up, so he might want to go ahead and get some altitude while he still can. I'm not sure why he's so low, other than to provide cover and stay away from spots.
Yes, that Hades on the Nandarin can just eat through the armor or the balloon.
Oh yes, and that's the key thing you want to take out on the Junker. You take out that balloon, and that's just a giant target. The hull is a little bit harder to hit unless you're either a really good gunner or within about 700 meters. Anything beyond 700 meters for the average gunner is not going to get good hits on that hull.
Especially with a gun as difficult to fire as the Hades.
But look at this. I'm eating my own words. Nandarin putting out that Hades. and slightly missing, but he did get some good haul hits, and that was a pretty far shot.
Glaswegian
That was about
Kiss
700 meters.
approaching over the top of the gun.
Okay, see the Junker now rising up so he can put those Artemises in arc. So wasted a little bit of the time, but he'll be okay.
There comes the Hades.
There goes that
the
Hades.
Junker.
Yeah, it's hitting Hull and Balloon. They're within 700 meters. There's that max range that I'm talking about with that Hades for the average gunner. Not sure if this one's any better than average, though.
Well, let's hope so. Good players always make games more interesting to watch.
I'm seeing a lot of wide Hades, and that's going to cost them. They want those hits. That Artemis, you don't want those Artemis to have free range. You got to remember, Zapdos, Junkers, very reliant on engineers, just like a Mobula. The Junker is essentially a sideways Mobula. You got the engineers that have to repair, but they're also your main shooters. And if you're taking damage, you ain't shooting.
The Mobula ducking to go below some of those Hades shots.
Oh, yes, and I love this area where they're engaging in. They got that giant gun, which who knows what that was used for. But Jesus! Just kind of ducking behind it and using it as cover. Blue team going to have the advantage there because they get the cover. Red team doesn't have anything. They have to go very low to get any source of cover. St. Glaswegian Kiss going to start advancing. Nandarin going to advance with him? Or is he going to stay? No, they are advancing on red team now.
Here comes
There's
the
that
flamethrower from the Zapdos onto the Glaswegian Kiss.
And look at Glaswegian Kiss using that tactic, that slow, methodical rush towards the enemies. Use the Artemis to, in this case, kill them, but also get the disables while the Gatling strips their armor and they can get a ram. Look at this targeting they're using here. This is great targeting. Both teams targeting someone separate, trying to keep pressure on the other, giving their ally some movement, some freedom of maneuver.
Glaswegian Kiss has just lost their armor.
Ooh, and this might be a death form. Can Zapdos do something on his right side? It's kind of limited in kill potential using a flamethrower and a Gatling, but definitely they're a great side for disables and keeping them busy. The engineer's busy.
Now it looks as though the red team are engaging the Nandarin in a 2v1.
And look at this. Zapdos might be able to... Is he going to turn? Or is he just going to go for Hall Breaks? You might want to put those Artemis on Nandarin, get the disables going, keep the engineers busy. He's trying to use that flamethrower, but he's out of range, even for Lesmach. And by giving up his target of St. Glaswegian Kiss to support his ally, he's just leaving room for St. Glaswegian Kiss to re-engage. And there it is, going after PPI compensation. That might be a death for PPI.
There goes the hull armor on the compensation. But can they capitalize on this? No, the armor comes back up as
The armor
Hades
comes
starts
back up.
falling into it.
And Zapdos going full reverse, trying to stop St. Glaswegian Kiss from assaulting his ally, but it might not be enough. Because now he let Nandarin get some freedom. And there it is. Nandarin said, okay, time for me to start hitting. You see the target swaps there. It's really amazing how fast these engineers and these captains are calling out these target swaps. And that's really what's key to these high levels of play, are those target swaps. And there's a lot of other aspects that go to it, but wow.
The Hades seems to be going over the Zapdos. But the Gatling is not missing it. It's going right into the Zapdos' hull armor. And there goes the Zapdos, falling as well to the St. Glaswegian Kiss.
Ah, yes, and St. Glaswegian Kiss, Nandarin, Sir Stefan, and Mighty Keb bringing that engagement towards their own spawn, really advancing there, using that gun as cover, seeing an opportunity to move in, both moving at the same time, nearly simultaneously, swapping targets where necessary, getting some freedom. Every time they had an opening, they took it. And now they're safe in their own spawn. Now let's see if they both teams try to go around again and cause the ring around a rosy effect, or if they'll just go ahead and say, let's engage in the middle.
It looks like Blue may be attempting to split their power, with the Glaswegian Kiss having a wide flank to the north, while the Nandarin is just staying where they just completed that.
And the reason he has to go so wide, St. Glaswegian Kiss, there's a mountain there. He has to be able to go over that mountain. If he doesn't go that wide, he ends up going through the middle. You can't go over the mountain right there. There's only a few spots you can pass over, so he's forced to go that wide. That's why you see such a wide flank there. He's trying to avoid being spotted in that middle, and that's good. He's going to go for that ambush. Let's see if it works. It might. That Mobula is mighty tasty to a Pyramidian, but with the Pyramidian increase in weight and Hall armor. A Junker is a very susceptible target as well. Really, anybody in a Pyramidion now is susceptible to a nice ram, and it looks like he is going for Zapdos. He might switch targets here. Let's see.
There's little deadlier than a surprise Pyramidion coming out of nowhere.
Unless he goes wide, and I think that was more intentional. He did not see that engagement going well. He's going to go ahead and bugger out.
Yes,
See if he goes low. He needs to get some cover and quickly. Yes, he is going to go low.
Yeah, I don't think the Glaswegian Kiss expected to have that opening in the cloud to get spotted at that point.
Yeah, not only that, but his teammate not able to provide as much fire support as he needed to make that ram possible. And now Nander is suffering a hall break. I think Glaswegian Kiss might try to... Is he going to try and go for this? He needs to stay low at this point. His ally is not in a position to re-engage. He is getting some great Hades hits on compensation, though. It's amazing what one gun can really make a difference in engagement. If Nandarin is able to keep that Hades up on compensation, compensation is forced to back out and go low, and you see that happening right now. That leaves St. Glaswegian Kiss open to get that kill on Zapdos. Let's see what happens here. Compensation needs to go support his ally.
As right now it appears to be a 2v1 with the compensation, trying to even out those odds.
Oh, look at this. Nandarin doing a target switch. These target switches are just amazing. I'm loving it. I really am. Going back to compensation.
The Glaswegian Kiss has just rammed the Zapdos to bring down its balloon and its armor now, too, with the Gatling.
Oh, Zapdos, no! He might go down here. I think that might be it for him, but let's see what he can do. He's not in a position to die quite yet. And he might be able to get that left side on Nandarin, which is going to put a lot of pressure on Nandarin's balloon. That flamethrower. I'm sorry, right side.
And
oh.
They were unable to, and the Zapdos falls to the Glaswegian Kiss once again.
Saw that engagement. That was a really, really tasty engagement there. Compensation, he's still at 100% haul. Oh, not anymore. Spoke too soon. Here comes Glaswegian Kiss with that methodical advancement. Nandarin able to kill him. They're probably not going to want to advance too much. They will end up in red spawn, but they're probably going to be able to secure this kill, which will put it at 0-4.
Yeah, we saw what being in the opponent's spawn could do to the blue team in the last match. But it turns out well for them this time.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And in that engagement, you really saw there Nandarin with that gunner. Who is that, by the way? Abel Limo really putting the pressure on that other Mobula, and that's really what turned the engagement. The second Nandarin's Hades started hitting that Mobula, what is it? Yeah, second Nandarin started hitting compensation. That was it. Compensation had to back out, and that left his Junker exposed. Junker was not able to pull out fast enough, and that's really what turned the engagement and allowed the blue team to advance and take over all of that cover that red team was trying to use. And in this map, taking cover is really what can be a game changer, because there's so little of it. It's so spaced out. Like I said, it's a close range map in the middle, but it's long range everywhere else. So the little bit of cover that you do have, you have to secure, you have to hold. If you get backed away from your piece of cover, you're done. That's it. Because you're going to be left out in the open while the other team can duck in between cover.
The red team has opted to spawn way toward the south. They're now making their way up back toward their original spawn. Then the blue team has remained toward the center, and the spot comes out on the compensation.
This is still anybody's game.
Single kill to finish off this match with about 10 minutes remaining.
There's 10 minutes left, 0-4, but red team still has it. I will never call a game until it is over. They can still fix whatever errors they have made and take advantage of all the errors that blue team has made.
Plenty of hits seem to be coming out on the compensation now, but only losing a single gun.
Here comes Zapdos, left side Artemis. Get those disables.
There goes the hull armor on the Nandarin.
Oh no.
Can they switch fast enough to take down some more of the permahealth? No, they cannot.
I hope not. No, there was no target swap on red team there. Zapdos probably could have finished off Nander and at least taken off about another 25 to 50% of his haul. Would have left him at a splinter of health. And look at this. Trying to put those Artemis into a Pyramidion is so difficult, especially if you have any kind of an altitude, because that haul on that tip just protects it. And that's probably going to be a death for Zapdos. And that'll be game to blue.
The armor comes back up just in time. Zapdos is now
Oh,
missing 3
disable
gun
on the
cannon damage.
Gatling. The disable on the flamethrower. St. Glass Wing Kiss has got this. There it is.